Hey Leo, welcome to your weekly forecast for April 19th through the 25th. We're going to check in here and see what's going on for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the week ahead. My apologies, guys. I know my posting's been kind of, crazy lately, but I do promise I am back and we're going to be working towards getting you more consistent weekly forecasts and more consistent podcasts. But we're going to see what's happening April 19th through the 25th for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the week ahead. Alrighty, my darlings, let's get right on into it. One more shuffle, one more shuffle, one more shuffle. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your first card is the King of Cups. Okay, I know a lot of you are getting super excited right now because you're used to watching love readings and you're like, I'm getting married, because you're seeing the King of Cups, and that might be happening for some of you. However, those of you who are new here, I do the love videos separate on this channel, and on the weekly forecasts, I try to focus on you, Leo. Less about other people, more about you and how these cards have to do with you and what's going on with you and elements of your, journey and your personality. So King of Cups can indicate maybe some of you have a significant water sign here in the mix. Water signs would be Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. This would be probably a more kind of masculine energy, or like a tougher water sign maybe. But for the majority of you, King of Cups, when this comes up in a reading, it can indicate that you're, for me anyway, what I've seen over the years reading for people, when King of Cups comes up for a person, you're balancing your generosity with your boundaries. And this has been an ongoing theme for you guys, Leo, because if you go back and you watch the weekly forecasts, even from over the I think even maybe way back as far as spring of last year, I think it was coming up, an ongoing theme for you guys, that a lot of you have been very generous and you've gotten burned. You've gotten burned really bad. And the thing about the King of Cups is he's very generous, but he's very cautious, right? And he's very balanced. He's not gonna be taken advantage of. And maybe some of you had closed off entirely. After you got burned, you may have gone to the other extreme or the other extent, and now with the King of Cups, you're learning like when it's safe to be generous, or when it's safe to give, or sometimes it's gonna be like where you're setting boundaries, like, I'm gonna do this for you, but these are my expectations. Kind of like a very firm parent, right? Like, you can borrow the car Friday night, but you've got to get all of your chores done, and you've got to wash the car, and you've got to use your own gas money, come up with your own gas money, like little things like that. Like, I'll give you something, but here are the expectations, or here are the requirements. So some of you might be also setting boundaries with loved ones, family. For some of you, it could be a child, a grown child, not a little kid, but like a grown child, where you're feeling the need to bail them out of a situation, but there's like some expectations, or I don't know why I'm hearing the word caveat. I don't know if that's resonating for some of you, but for some reason I'm hearing the word caveat. Um, but so this can be balancing generosity. It can also be receiving generosity. Maybe somebody stepping in and helping you, and you guys are setting the boundaries of what's expected. Okay, for me, the King of Cups is a perfectly balanced, like nice, but you can't take advantage of me kind of energy. The next card here is the Death card. Some of you might be dealing with a Scorpio. There could be something very significant here. If you have a Scorpio placement, that area of your life could be really coming to the forefront here and could be front and center. In general, when the major arcana cards come up in a reading, at least in my readings, it's telling me that you're coming into a new chapter, a new phase, and some situation that you're dealing with is directly connected with something you came here to learn, to experience, to master. Okay, the Death card is a card of transformation. And so for many of you, you might be feeling like it's time to close the door on the old ways. Maybe for some of you, this is changing a certain way that you've been living your life. It could be a situation, it could be a job. This is a general reading. So this is going to apply to you guys in different ways. But the death card is like one door is closing and another door is opening. It's a card of transformation. The death card also comes up, not to get too deep on you guys here, but the death card also comes up in my readings when somebody is experiencing what we in the spiritual world refer to as ego death. I know that sounds terrifying, but it really isn't. It's actually a very liberating process. The way you know, okay, let me tell you what ego death is. Ego death is when we come into this time when we begin to shed off all of our programming, right? Like maybe you grew up your whole life and you were told, oh, you're too sensitive, or oh, no, you shouldn't do this, you would be better at that. Like, oh, you shouldn't be creative, you should be more scientific, or you should be more this or more that. Like we're kind of taught what to like, we're kind of taught how to be, we kind of have certain labels that get put on us. So we start to play that part. We start to act that way because it's what's expected of us. But when the ego death happens, we're shedding off those labels. We're going back to the authentic self. We're figuring out really who we are without the programming, without the labels, without the pressures, but who we are, and like to live unapologetically as we are. The way you know if you're going through ego death, in the beginning it can be kind of scary because all of a sudden you might feel like you don't enjoy anything because your taste is changing so drastically and you don't realize it. Like you might listen to music you used to love and you're like, I don't like this song anymore. I don't like any of the playlists I have. I don't like any of these, you know, maybe some of you have CDs still or like whatever. Like I don't like these anymore, or I don't like these movies anymore. I used to love this TV show. I don't like it anymore. Or even friends, especially like, oh man, I used to love hanging out with them, but now every time I see that text message or they call me, like I cringe, you know? Or maybe you've just drifted away from your friends and to the extent where if you try to talk to them, you don't even feel like you have anything in common anymore. Those are all indications of ego death. You're going through this transformation. So it doesn't mean that you've lost joy for life. It doesn't mean that nothing makes you happy. It just means that it's time for you to figure out what you do like. And the only way you're going to figure that out is by going out there and sampling, right? Like trying stuff. Maybe I want to do something creative. Maybe I want to do something inventive. Maybe I want to read about a certain subject. Maybe I want to take up a certain hobby or take a certain class, even if it's virtual. So it's just kind of discovering who you are right now, Leo. Your next card here, my darlings, is the Eight of Swords. This could feel scary. You might feel a little bit stuck, right? You're like, everything is changing and I don't like anybody anymore. I don't like anything anymore. It can feel very scary. And sometimes, I have to put this little warning out there. Sometimes with the Eight of Swords, it can mean that we're waiting for like some special magical person to come along and like take us by the hand and like show us the way. However, unfortunately, with the Eight of Swords, this is what happens. When you're waiting for somebody to come in and like kind of uh uh take you by the hand and take you out of this stuck feeling or this unhappiness, because like attracts like, you're gonna have one of two things happen. The best case scenario is you're going to end up attracting someone who's in a very similar boat as you, and they're trying to figure it out too. Okay? But that makes it challenging because then it can feel like the blind's leading the blind, so to speak. And so you might not have somebody who can come in and help you. They maybe are wanting somebody to show them the way. Like they're not capable of showing you the way because they're still trying to figure it out. Okay? That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, okay, I call it the baby seal, the injured baby seal. If there's a little injured baby seal in the ocean and it's bleeding, Before the other seals can hear what's happening and rush to its rescue or find it, the sharks are going to pick up on that blood far quicker and they're going to come rushing in. Okay, so either you're going to attract somebody who's in the same boat as you and they're trying to figure it out and they don't know what's going on, or it's going to attract an opportunist. It's going to attract somebody who's going to take advantage of the situation and try to turn you the way that they want you, right? Or like what they want you to do or what they're going to get out of you. They're going to find some way to benefit from the situation. The Eight of Swords wants you to know that there's nothing worse than staying still. Because in this situation, she's like a sitting duck, right? She can't see what's going on. She has her arms behind her back. You know, it's not good to just be out in the middle of nowhere like that. The Eight of Swords says you could very easily shimmy out of that. It's not that tight around you. You can push that off your eyes, and then you can see that you're not even surrounded by these swords. There's plenty of room to walk, right? And that water you were feeling around you is not that deep. You could step right over it. They're little puddles, right? You could even grab a couple of these swords on your way and you can now have tools or protection. So Eight of Swords wants you to know there is a way out. The only thing keeping you in the situation is the fear of looking. But the fear is also what makes us a sitting duck, right? So, Leo, I feel like some of you are in this energy where you're wanting to get out there again, but you've gotten burned so bad. You've gotten taken advantage of so bad. You're so scared of it happening again. And so maybe some of you are, it doesn't only have to be in terms of friendships or love or romance. It could be in work situations, it can be in business partnerships, just people in general. I feel like you're questioning interaction with people in general. And so this is saying you don't have to be scared. Okay, you don't have to be scared. Um you just move forward towards the things that you like, figure out what you like, figure out what makes you happy, try to spend moments in joy, even if you feel like it's not doing anything towards your goals or solving your problems. The more time you can spend doing things that are relaxing you, that are cheering you up, that are, making you smile, even if it's momentarily. This is how you raise your vibration. This is how you come out of heavy energy, and this is how you start to attract better things. Okay? So even if it doesn't seem like it's solving your problems or fulfilling your goals, if it's bringing you a sense of peace, a sense of calm, a sense of happiness, go ahead and try to incorporate those things into your life. If it's taking a walk, if it's taking a bubble bath, if it's coloring in a coloring book, if it's, watching a funny movie, whatever it might be, listening to music, looking at art, building something, tinkering, crafts, whatever it is. If it lifts your spirit, try to schedule and incorporate things that are going to be lifting your spirit, because it's going to help you a lot with this transformation that you're going through, Leo. Your next card here is the Ten of Cups. Look how happy that is. Some of you are like, I told you I'm getting married. And that can be for some of you. I know Ten of Cups is like typecast. It's typecast as the marriage card. And that can be for some of you. You might be manifesting that. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But we're going to go a little bit deeper here, okay? Ten of Cups, what it really means is fulfillment in all areas of your life, satisfaction in all areas of your life, inner peace. Okay, that's not going to be marriage for every single person. It's not. For some of you, it might be. That might be one of the things you want in your cups, and you might be manifesting that. But it's just about your inner peace, feeling full, feeling satisfied, feeling happy. I don't mean to get too deep or too dark here, Leo, but I feel some of you have been chasing a dragon, so to speak, for a long time, trying to fill some void, right? And I think some of you have been waiting for in the past, maybe in the past you were waiting for someone to come along and like right those wrongs and make up for what you've been through. but I feel like you're just coming into this energy of happiness and fulfillment, like the best kind of happiness, the kind of happiness that's not tied to a person or situation, because people can be flaky or people can be temporary, situations can be temporary. So if we tie our happiness to something, if that ends up, you know, not being around anymore, then we're not happy anymore. But you're coming into the happiness that's not tied into anything, right? So it can't be taken away. You're coming into experiencing a fulfillment, a joy, a happiness, and a peace that cannot be taken away. No matter what other people are doing, no matter what other people are saying, no matter what's going on, you're feeling a sense of fulfillment. You're feeling a sense of peace. I do feel that some of you are becoming very heavily involved in some kind of philanthropy or volunteer kind of work, volunteering kind of work. Like, I feel some of you are getting involved in an organization that is serving your community or helping in a matter that is very near and dear to your heart. I do feel that some of you are finding fulfillment in helping the old you, if that makes any kind of sense, right? Like, if you had like a really rough upbringing, you might be working with an organization or helping in an organization where they're helping kids who were like once where you were when you were growing up, or like something like that, uh coming out of abusive relationships, fixing or reestablishing credit, or coming out of bankruptcy, or whatever it might be. I feel like some of you are getting involved in organizations where you're helping people mend, and that's giving you a sense of fulfillment. And you're also realizing that you're meeting a better quality of people, right? You're meeting people who are more selfless, and who are not conniving. Leo, that's what I feel. I just feel like you're sick of the conniving, money hungry, gimme, gimme, gimme kind of energy. And a lot of you are finding different ways to disconnect from that, and attract people in your life that are not that way. Okay, I feel a sense of fulfillment in that way. Your next card here is the Nine of Wands. So this wants us to know a couple of things. Number one, Nine of Wands could indicate that some difficult phase, some difficult period is almost over. It's almost over. You're so, so close. If you gave up now, you'd be so frustrated if you knew how close you were to completion. You're very close to completion. Nine of Wands can also be very defensive energy, where we're very cautious. We're not really trusting other people. We feel like we need to kind of protect ourselves. And the Nine of Wands wants you to know to stay alert, to stay cautious, but that you don't have to be afraid about giving people chances. You don't have to be afraid about having experiences, or letting people in, or working on collaborating with others. You don't have to fear it, even if you have been burned in the past, because every single one of these wands here symbolizes some jerk who came along. This guy's just in his field minding his own business, but every single one of these wands symbolizes some jerk that came along and wanted to challenge him, wanted to start trouble, wanted to fight him. Maybe they were jealous, maybe they wanted to take over his field, whatever it was, but they came at him. And we see he took some hits here. He's got a bandage around his head. Looks like he's maybe a bandage around his arm. We see he took some hits. He's injured. But he won. He won every single fight. He took their stick away. Give me that. And he stuck it behind him as like this trophy. And even though he took some hits, even though he has some injuries, he's still alert. He's still standing. And he's still got some fight left in him. Okay? And that's where you are, Leo. You may have taken some hits, but you still got some fight left in you. And you know there's nothing new under the sun anybody can come at you with. You know every lie, every manipulation, every con. You've seen it. You know it, right? So if you're getting to know somebody, or talking about doing business with someone, or dating, or trying to find friends, whatever it is, you know what the red flags are. And if you see those red flags, you're going to nip it in the bud right away, right? You're not gonna get invested in years and years of going around with that person or that situation or getting taken advantage of. Oh, I know what this is. Nope, no thank you. So you don't have to be afraid about putting yourself out there. You're gonna still come across some people like that, but you're gonna recognize it right away and you're gonna be able to save your time. So you don't have to be afraid. You have the tools you need to protect yourself. Okay? Check out your moon sign and rising sign videos because some weeks those might resonate with you more. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you want to go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. I'll have that listed in the description as well, along with the link to the love readings for April. My darlings, my darlings, my darlings, if you do schedule a private reading with me, I am begging you, please take a moment and double check your email address. Make sure that you're giving me the email address where you want me to send the reading, because I know a lot of people have more than one email address, then they get very confused. So make sure that you give me the address where you want the reading, and please, please, please make sure there's no typos in your email address. Otherwise, I try to email your reading, it bounces back, and I have to wait till you reach out to me and say, hey, how come you never sent me my reading? I didn't have your email address. Thank you for writing me. Now I can get it to you. So make sure that there aren't any typos and that it's the address where you want your reading sent. Thanks for watching, my darlings. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Take care. Podcast coming up soon.